All right, let's go. All right, I've had so much fun doing this. I'm going to keep continuing because we got a few more of these to go through, and it's just kind of interesting. So let's continue. MEV. It is he who sits upon the circle of the earth, and inhabitants are as grasshoppers, who stretch out the heaven as curtain and spreads them out as a tent to dwell in. So I'm okay with that. The Nog. God is enthroned above the earth, and those who live it on are like grasshoppers. Okay. All right. We're like little bugs. All right. I don't like grasshoppers. I don't like. We're not like grasshoppers. I would much prefer as grasshoppers because that's comparable to how we look down at our feet and we see grasshoppers. That's comparable to how God sees us from above. We're as grasshoppers. To me, as grasshoppers is better than saying we're like grasshoppers. To me, in my mind, anyways, it's different. But all right, let's keep going. I'm not opposed to canopy, spread out like a tent to live in. Uh, all of which contradicts the idea that we live on a planet. In my mind, in my opinion. All right. So enthroned above the vault of the earth. So the vault. When I think of a vault, I think of a like a bank vault. You open up the door, you go inside the vault. To me, it just does not connect. So I have a problem with vault. Heaven's like a veil. All right. Okay. Veil. I think of a veil as a covering. All right. Okay. NASB. It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like little bugs, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain. Okay. That's other than like grasshoppers. I don't like that. That looks okay. If you collate if you go through the NASB, you're going to find all kinds of problems. This is not near as big as uh, a lot of the problems that it has. It's not even close to its biggest problem. NASB 1995. Well, they didn't get it right, so they had to do it again. Of course, they changed it. Like a tent to live in, like a tent to dwell in. So now they got the copyright. Now they can make the money. All right. So if you had the old NASB, you get the new one, and we can make a little more money. All right, you get them both, and boy, we make racking in the money now. That's what it's all about. They don't care about the truth at all. At all. They care about the money. NCV. God sits on his throne above the circle of the earth. Compared to him, people are like grasshoppers. So now, adding that caveat, if you will, I'm okay with that. Maybe. Compared to him, people are like grasshoppers. I still don't like the wording of that. Even with that caveat, I just don't like it. I don't like. He stretches out the skies like a piece of cloth and spreads them out like a tent to sit under. See, they got to change the wording just enough so they can get that copyright. Not about the truth, about changing enough words so they can make the money. So they can reel in the big bucks. He is the one who sits on the earth's horizon. Its inhabitants are like grasshoppers before him. He is the one who stretches out the sky like a thin curtain. Now, there's that word "thin." I think it's like the same people putting that word in. It doesn't make any sense to me. A thin curtain? Why not a thick curtain? Why a thin curtain? And spreads it out like a pitched tent. Why not just like a tent? Why add the word pitched tent? Well, so they can make sure they got enough words different than the other versions because there's so many of them. They got to change it enough so they can make the money. That's why. Has nothing to do with accuracy. It's not, they're not honest people. They're just changing it so they can make the money. That's it. God sits on a throne high above the earth. It's people look like grasshoppers to him. We look like bugs. Is that what that means? I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I'm making too big of a deal out of that. And then again, maybe I'm not. He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth. Its people are like grasshoppers, hopping around. And NIV and NIV UK. Didn't we have a? What's going on here? So we got the ESV and the ESV UK. Looks like it says exactly the same. And then we got the NIV and the NIV UK. Looks like it says exactly the same. But if you put the UK on there, people are going to buy it. So now we got two. One for Americans and one for the Englanders. All right. So, and I won't get into that. The not King James Version. Let's see if we can fool them and draw them away from the King James Bible and into the corrupt perversions. That's the whole purpose of the NKJV, to get people away from the King James. Now, how are they going to make money if you're stuck with the King James Bible? You're not going to want to buy all these other translations, and you're not going to, you're not going to be as easy to manipulate if you're reading the King James Bible. We got to get people away from the King James Bible so we can change the doctrines of God and make a lot of money in the meanwhile. And that's the whole purpose of that. NLV, it is God who sits on the throne above the earth. The people living on the earth are like little jumpy bugs. God sits above the circle of the earth. People below seem like grasshoppers to him. Seem like green little bugs with long legs. I'm just, making a big deal out of that. We're like little bugs. See, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure if I'm making too big of a deal out of that. I probably am, but then again, maybe I'm not. It is he who sits above the circle of the earth. Its inhabitants are like green little boogers who stretch out the heaven like a curtain spread. Okay. Spread out like a curtain. Again, listen. What is this? NRSVA. CE. What is that CE? New Revised Standard Version. Anglicized. Oh, look at that. See, we got the versions for the Protestants, and then we got the version for the Catholics. So, because there's one for the Protestants and one for the Catholics, you're going to think the one for the Protestants are for the Protestants, and the one for the Catholics are the Catholics. Not even realizing that the Roman Catholic Church is behind it all. Yeah. So, and it looks like they say the same thing, and it doesn't matter. And if one's corrupt, this one's corrupt, they're all corrupt. That's all that matters, and they're making the money. What is this here? Catholic edition, and it looks like they all say the same exact thing, but they've got patents or whatever, copyrights on all three of them, so they're making money. That's all that matters. Oh, you gotta love this here. It is he that sits above the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are like shenanigans that stretcheth out skins like a curtain and spreadeth out them like an oh hell, to dwell in. Yeah, that's so much easier to read than the King James Bible. The King James is just so doggone hard. I gotta get me one of these things. So much easier. Orthodox Jewish Bible. Well, hey, it's Jewish, man, right? So that's gotta be something, doesn't it? No, you put in all these goofy words, and that's more holier. That gives me greater knowledge than people that read that dumb King James Bible, right? I mean, this is so much easier. He sits enthroned high above the circle of the earth. To him, the people of earth are like little bugs. He stretches out the heavens. It is he who sits above them. Heavens are bugs, little buggers, little green little buggers down there. This is the Catholic. How many Catholic versions are they? And if you knew the truth, that 99% of these, and 90+% of these are under the supervision of the Roman Catholic Church. 90%, 90+% of them. TLV. He sits above the circle of the earth. Its inhabitants are like little buggers. Voice. Who else could have done it except God? Enthroned high above the earth. From such a vantage, people seem like grasshoppers to him. Who else but God could stretch out the skies as if they were a curtain, draw them tight, suspend them over our heads like the roof of a tent? What did that just say? Who else but God could stretch out the skies as if they were a curtain? Uh-oh, hold on. All right, I'm back. A couple of cats had a disagreement out there, so everything's okay. All right, where was we at here? The web. It is he who sits above the circle of the earth. Inhabitants are like little green buggers. WYC, which sitteth on the compass of the earth. Okay. And the dwellers thereof be as locusts. Right, so now we're not even green little bugs, we're a different kind of bug. So the dwellers thereof be as locusts. Now, does that make sense to you? Well, why would they use the word locust? Well, if you go back to the Hebrew and you find the Hebrew word, and that Hebrew word can be retranslated back into the English and it's got a variance, or there are a variety of words that are acceptable to translate into the English language. So you could use green little bug, you could use locust, insects, grasshoppers. You got a variety of different words you can choose from. And so that's what they do in order to make their wording different. That way they can get that copyright on there and make a lot of money. Which stretch forth heavens as not. Okay. Stretch forth heavens as not. Am I misunderstanding the word not? I thought not meant nothing. Does it mean something else? Is it even possible to search it? Not. Nothing. No. Okay. Stretch the forth heavens as not. Okay, this is so much easier to understand. It's incredible. In the King James Bible, it's beautiful. It spreads abroad those as a tabernacle to dwell in, which stretches forth heavens as not, and spreads abroad those what? As a tabernacle to dwell in. Now, what in the world does that even mean? Can somebody explain that to me? Oh, this is beautiful. To you put the word in, to dwell in. It is he who sits above or over the roundness. There we go. That's all. That's all that matters. I want that confirmation that I'm living on a planet and I'm a super monkey. That's all I want to know. Just reaffirm my belief that I'm a super monkey and I'm going to evolve into a super Marvin Martian, right? The Great Kazoo. I'm working my way up to the top, right? And its inhabitants be like grasshoppers, hopping around. It is he who stretch out. It is he who stretches forth the heavens like a curtain. What do? Just repeat yourself twice there? Yeah, whatever it takes to make the big bucks, right? YLT. He is sitting on the circle of the earth. Its inhabitants are as grasshoppers. He who is stretching out as a thin thing the heavens. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. A thin thing. He stretches out as a thin thing the heavens and spreads them as a tent to dwell in. So you see, looking through these, and this is not all of the, the American or the English Bible perversions. There's a lot of them. These are I think 50. I once counted 50 versions here at Bible Gateway. That's enough, isn't it? And when we got the five main ones, um, the main one is the King James Bible. That's the perfect Bible. The other ones, you got the NIV, you got the ESV, you got the NASB, and you got the Amplified Bible. And what am I missing here? So those are the four major corrupt versions, the most popular corrupt versions. And but there's only one that's got it exactly right. It is he that sits upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretches out the heavens as a curtain, and spreads them out as a tent to dwell in. See, I like the way this uses the word as. Okay, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, as a curtain, as a tent. Not saying that they are grasshoppers, it's saying as grasshoppers. Not saying it's a curtain, it's as a curtain. Not saying it's a tent, it's saying as a tent. That's the proper wording in my mind. And now to read that, to get all sorts of these goofy wordings, it's obvious in my mind that all these people are corrupting the word of God so they can make the money. All right, so 19 minutes, that's enough. I would like to. Now, I think that's enough. All right, thanks for watching.